Thank you. Mr. Chair, I have here an example of the fact-checked, example of the fact-checked image. This is from Digsan. If you think this is normal, then you are abnormal. Hashtag Quadcom, hashtag Duterte, hashtag NPA, hashtag HOR, hashtag Philippines. And there's an image of the three of us. It is alarming to see our leaders being questioned by NPA affiliates. The House of Representatives tolerates this, and it is very disturbing. So, Mr. Chair, it was fact-checked by Rappler, and the claim was it's false. No, so this is an example of how the Meta does it, right? I don't know how you fact check, for example, how you take down, or what is your standards on taking down the AI that is not being fact checked by this by Verifiles, by Rappler, by those that you've actually mentioned before.
Mr. Chairman, Congresswoman. In the presentation I gave, I highlighted that we have a three-pronged approach to misinformation. We remove the most harmful misinformation if we believe that it can lead to, and we can independently confirm that it can lead to offline harm and violence in the real world. We will also do that in the case that it violates certain types of elections law. With misinformation that does not meet that threshold, we will use our third-party fact checkers to check if indeed that misinformation is false or partially false or missing context or any of those kind of labels. And if the third-party fact checker does confirm that it's false, then we will reduce the distribution of that content on our platforms, and we will put a label on it so that someone who sees that content understands that they are looking at content that has been determined by a third-party fact checker to be at least false or partially false, or as I said, there's a number of other labels they can apply. I showed an example earlier about what that would look like on our platforms. And so when it comes to AI, I think the important thing to reiterate is, number one, that whether a piece of content is AI generated or not, the misinformation policies still apply. Right? They apply across the board. So if there is a piece of misinformation that's generated by AI, it's still going to be the same misinformation policies. Now, there is one additional point to make, which I mentioned previously, which is that if it's a paid piece of content, if it's sponsored, if it's an ad, then there are additional checks that we do, and we require that whoever has placed that ad or boosted that content disclose that it is AI generated, right? And then you'll also be able to go into the ad library and see the details, and these are all publicly available, of who placed the ad, how much was spent on it, and so forth. And if these ads are politically, if they're political in nature, if they are about the election, about a campaign, about a political candidate, if they're about social issues, then they have to go through our authorization process for running political and social ads. That adds another layer of authorization and verification, so that means that,
I mean, my question is, how do you control this? You have the controls, you have the technology. How do you control this kind of I am asking this, Mr. Chair, because we are always the victims of red tagging, and it is a danger to our life, liberty, and property. And we all know that those are actually false contents. But it keeps on proliferating in the internet, right now, even right now, as we are speaking. So I'm asking the Meta, how did they do that? Is there, actually, my next question is about how many disinformation have you had banned or removed, or how do you control this fake news or disinformation? How many are based on complaints? How many are initiated by your platforms, for example? Those are questions that I would like to be, answered.
Mr. Chairman. First of all, Congresswoman, I think the issue of red tagging is one that we take very, very seriously, and I would express my sympathy to anyone who's been the victim of that. That's obviously a very, very, very difficult experience, and one that I would certainly not wish on anyone. I would just like to emphasize that red tagging violates our policies. We view red tagging as a form of coordinating harm on our platform, and that is prohibited. When we're made aware of it, and we confirm that it's red tagging, then we will remove that content. We've done that in many, many cases for a number of years now. And I would just emphasize again that that does violate our policies, and we will remove it when it's reported to us. So I would encourage you or any other victim of red tagging to send a report to us via Comelec, via DICT, or the other channels that we have with the government, and we would review that with the utmost urgency, given the potential for harm. Your second question was about fact-checking, I believe, right? And I would just say that when it comes to fact-checking, there's a publicly available library, and we can share that with the committee, of the different types of fact checks that have been placed on our platform. Just recently, I think we've seen a number of different issues that have been covered by our fact checkers in Philippines, and again, I think those are all publicly available, and be happy to share a list with the committee. But anyone can find that also, as they're all online.